Hi friends, this is Chris with Josephine's Designs. I am back to plan in my standard TN, and I'm going to use the rest of this gorgeous kit from DEK Designs. It is the Hot Cocoa, and I used a bit of it last week in my personal planner, but I wanted to use all this gorgeousness in this planner. So if you can see, it's got gorgeous silver foiled pages and just absolutely beautiful, beautiful. And I've already used some of this, of course, you can see, but absolutely just beautiful options for a planner. So I think, and I've got a little bit left, I think I'm going to do the weekly now, and then I'll come back and do the monthly. And, or maybe I'll just do both. Let's see what we've got going on in here. So I may have to come back and do the monthly because I don't have it drawn out, and that would just take too much time. And I am not going to do that to you guys. So I will come back and do the monthly. Sorry, they're coming in and out of the house. I waited to film, and those little stinkers, they've decided to be in and out right now. Bless their hearts. So, anyways, oh my goodness. There is a saying here in the South, and we always say things like, well, bless their hearts. And bless your heart kind of has two meanings. And one of them is, really bless their hearts. I just hate that they're going through this, or oh, they're so sweet, or whatever it is. And then the other one is, um, bless their, how do I say this? Well, when my kids were little, the S word was the word stupid. So, and I know people that will say, well, bless their hearts. And they mean it like, don't be so stew. So anyways, but I mean, bless their hearts, like they're being, sweet. So anyways, but they are kind of being stinky too. So when I told them, please don't do that, I'm going to be videoing. Oh, those little stinkers. Well, so how are you guys doing? How is your new year? How is your family? How is if you work your job, how is just your own life, your mind, how are you feeling? There's so many different things going on right now. I've got a brother and sister-in-law they're expecting in July. And she reached out to me this weekend, and she was dehydrating and could not, which what happens is she has really bad morning sickness. And then she literally goes to her doctor, but it was a weekend, so she would go into the ER and they would give her, IVs of fluids, and then she'd be fine. She's an EMT by profession. And she wrote me, she said, please pray for me. I am dehydrating due to nausea, and we can't go in anywhere because of COVID. The hospital was beyond capacity. They were putting people in tents, and they were not taking patients who were, unless it was, you know, unless they were in severe distress. And of course, she wasn't. I mean, she was, but she wasn't. So she knew some tricks and tips, so she tried those, and it sounds like it worked. I checked on her today, and then late last night. But what a crazy time. And who would have thought their little podunk town would have tents outside? And yeah, I mean, I don't know, we've got kids that just don't think it's that big of a deal, and then we've got kids that are going like, wow, man, that's a really big deal. And so you know we get both sides of the spectrum. So and it's not a laughing matter. I mean, these are very dangerous things. But, my sister, who's, I've shared many times, she's a perfusionist in Houston and, been in the front lines since it all went down. And, her way of dealing with things is to make you laugh. And so when she got the vaccination, I think I shared with y'all before, she had told me, I don't care if I grow horns and a tail, I'm getting that vaccine because she's seen the worst of it. And she's like, don't go get yours. Let me get mine first. Let's see what happens. And because she knows I have tons of autoimmune and allergies, and they won't touch me, with the 10-foot pole right now, because I'm not medical personnel. I don't need the vaccine right now. I mean, others need it. I can shelter in. They don't, of course, they need to go before me. And anyway, she was so funny. She would send me pictures of a little dinosaur shaking its tail. And she sent it to me. She would text it to me all day long, and it just cracked me up. And finally, I showed my daughter and husband, and they were just like, "Oh my gosh!" And so, anyways, but I mean, it's her way of coping. And when my grandmother, who this channel is named after, Josephine, was so sick at one point in her life, and we, drove like maniacs to get to her, and down on the coast when she lived down the coast before, my parents retired up here, and my husband and I went down and we brought her up. And so she wouldn't be alone. And anyways, I will never forget, we were sitting up in the ICU. It had been days. We weren't even allowed to see her for like a day or two. And they were sitting in the hallway up all night, in these chairs. And it was my sister would go and do something. She'd come back and she would just say the most, I mean, I hate to say it, they're really off color, but really shocking, funny things. And you're like, what did you say? And she would say it again. And I will never forget, we were sitting in after my grandmother started to get better and she was still sleeping. My sister and I sat up with her all night in ICU, and my mom went home. And anyways, and of course my husband had the kids at my parents' house, and I wasn't going to leave her. As long as I was in town, I was going to be with my grandmother. And anyway, so my sister, there was like Saturday Night Live on, which I did not watch very often, but it was on. And our kids were really young. This was probably back in the 90s, the early 90s. And I guess Adam Sandler came on and he did the opera guy or something. I don't know what he sang opera. Anyways, it was so, because my sister can laugh about anything. And so she just starts laughing and laughing. And I'm like, stop it. Be quiet. You can't do that. And she's like, why? These are actual rooms. There's not partitions. You can laugh. And I was like, no. Mimi Jo's sleeping. Let her rest, Anyways, and so she just kept on laughing and laughing. And of course, my grandmother was extremely hard of hearing. Why I was worried, I don't know. But anyways, but she got me laughing, and I started laughing so hard that I was crying. And I told my sister, I said, we got to stop this, because if a nurse comes in here, they're going to think that we're breaking down. Either we're going to think we're having a mental breakdown, or they're going to think that there's something wrong with Mimi Jo and I'm crying. And so anyways, but oh my goodness gracious. And she's done that so many different times. And I know that she knows that I am concerned about her. So I know that's why she sends me all this silliness. And I don't know about y'all, but I just need a little silliness right now. And yeah, I mean, who faults somebody with trying to encourage you? What a blessing that is. And she was pretty tame in her encouragements with her little shot and her little dinosaur tail, but anyways, she's just a character. She's so cute, and I just so appreciate it because I think she knows what buttons to push to make me laugh. And yeah, she was pushing every button, I'm gonna tell you. So, okay, so what I am doing right now, and I'm having a hard time because I'm sitting back, so I hope I'm straight, is I'm just going to take these headers and go across. Oh, you know what? I wasn't going to do that. Hold on. Let me change that. Okay, what tool do I have in here? I've lost my little pokey tool. It fell during the Christmas chaos of work, and I don't see my Creative Memories tool in here, which my husband found, and he likes it. And I thought, no, don't take that. So I think he took it. So let me see if I can get it up this way. But anyways, to make a very long story short, she's just a funny gal. And yeah, and we have this history, of course, because we're sisters, and it's funny, and she can make me laugh. And I appreciate that. I mean, I really do. I think everybody's on edge, and because in the medical field, she can handle the stress. Now, and the other stuff, maybe not as much, which, everybody has what they can handle, what they can't handle. When we lost my parents, it was really hard on her, but, this part she can handle because that's what she's done for, almost, just short of 30 years. So anyways, but, oh my gosh, that girl, I tell you what, we all need somebody who makes us giggle. That's for sure. And she is definitely that for me, and I'm very thankful for that. So God knows what we need and when we need it. You know what I mean? So anyways, but so I have been doing a lot of thinking, and I'm a Christian, so I've been praying through what does God want me to do on the channel. And I'm going to come back with a video of what's next. What are we going to do next here on this channel? Because There's a lot of things I'm having to do in my personal life and trying to keep the balance of working privately and then working and then doing things here on the channel. I kind of want to make sure I'm keeping balance. And one of my goals this year is for self-care, which I stink at. I mean, putting these nails on was like the most self-care I've done in months. And it was like, wow, that took 5 minutes. Okay, what now? So, but I literally just put in a grocery store order and I never got to get my hair color done. And there are times where I look at my hair and think, my hair has so much red in it anyways, it almost, doesn't need to be touched up. But then I just thought, no, you know what? It's a good skill to learn. And it is a little bit darker on the roots. It's definitely always been lighter on the ends, just like anybody's hair with the sun and everything that I'm in. And, but I decided, no, I'm going to do this for self-care and it's going to be something I'm going to learn to do. And so I'm going to get my hair color done. And I mean, when I was first married, I did all of this because we were so poor. And honestly, in the last many years, I just have to go once a year and get my hair colored. My hair doesn't grow that fast. It's very long now. It's to the middle of my back. It's too long. But my husband's like, no, don't cut it. I like your hair long. I just feel like some, old lady with long hair. But anyway, so I just decided that I was going to take my time and do a few things. And I even actually, our grocery store had a coupon for Garnier hair color and Garnier face cleansers and all kinds of stuff. So I didn't go crazy. I just got a few things. And I, of course, had to have a coupon. And so I got a few things and I thought, you know what? I did that for everybody else at Christmas. I need to do a couple of things just to kind of get it a little bit better here. And it'll, sometimes those things are fun. I mean, I used to love, of course, I was in Mary Kay off and on for 20 years. And I loved Mary Kay. And I loved treating other women and pampering them and having spa days here out on the property. And people loved to come out here because it was, not in town. And anyways, it was just, we would have like a retreat spa day and ladies would get away and come out and, we would do facials and all kind of makeovers, all kinds of things. And, I'm not a big makeup wearer. I mean, you think if you want to enhance, it's great, go for it. And, I definitely can use some enhancement, but, it was just such a blessing to love others. You know what I mean? Serve and love others. And so I really recognized as I was sitting down working on my goals this year that I never, I never ever do things like that for myself. And I always fuss at others to do it and I don't do it myself. So I'm kind of fudging a little bit on this line because I'm running out of the skinny, so I may have to go wide down here. And that's what I'm trying to see. So I've got okay, yeah, I'm going to go wide down here. So anyways, so it'll be fun and I think it'll be a good thing to do. And just sometimes we need things like that. And there's nothing wrong with needing something like that. I think that everybody should take good care of themselves. And I mean, as a Christian, we're even told to take care of ourselves, it makes sense. You can't be a good, employee, a good wife, a good mother, a good Christian if you're too tired because you haven't taken care of yourself. And that's been my MO for years. I mean, goodness gracious, how silly is that? And when you keep draining the tank dry of all the gasoline, how come you expect it to still take that, 3-hour trip? Well, it's just not going to work. So anyways, so I think I'm going to put a little time in on that and, not be crazy, but just, put some paint on it a little bit. So anyways, and I also bought a few things like the shampoo that keeps your color in, which I never do that stuff, that kind of a deal, because honestly, I feel like I wake up and then I get going and I look up and today it was like, I don't know, 12:10. I hadn't even run to the ladies' room. I hadn't had a cup of coffee, hadn't done anything. I just hit the floor running. And it was like, I do that so many times. And I mean, I would get off one phone call to get to the next phone call. And then Some of them I couldn't even hang up on. They would just call. And so I'd be like, okay, I'm going to have to call you back. I've got a call coming in. So, it's just one of those busy first days back. You know what I mean? And the list was long of everything I wanted to do. And my husband was supposed to go back to work today, but he hasn't had that much to do either. So, hence the door opening and closing. So he's supposed to be out in the back planting grapes. So excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. So, and I was cleaning some things out of the fridge and just doing all kinds of things today. I mean, it was just kind of one of those like, I'm just gonna catch up day. And I'm totally good with that. So, all right, now I really want to use these. So I'm coming back over here. And I might not even need these full sets. But I wanted to see. You know what? I'm okay with that. Even if it covers it up a little bit, I'm okay. So I'm going to start, since it's gingerbread anyways, I'm going to start with it up here. And then I am just going to come down the side of the page because I think these are so stinking cute. And by the way, if you guys don't, this is all dekdesigns.com. If you guys don't know it, so on Sunday, there are specials on DEK. If you watch my Instagram, if you subscribe to it, you'll get to see when all these things are going up. And then on Wednesdays, there's a special. So this special yesterday, here I was working, I was doing all these things. I spent 2 days cutting and prepping things for the Etsy shop and all that kind of good stuff, which is not up yet, but we're working on it. And I'm waiting for other people to get me some things. So, and I'm no one outside of our house, just within our home. But anyways, so there was a great sale yesterday. The kits were my all-time. I mean, I just was like, wow, 1, 2, 3, love every one of them. Done. I want to order some of those. And all of a sudden, I was like, I'm going to order that. I made the decision. I'm going to order it. And then I got up this morning and I was texting with the gal who I report to, who I just love. She's so sweet. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't order. So I messaged her. I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to go order, but I think I missed the special. And she was like, no, you're okay. You're okay. So okay. So I ordered, and then I forgot I was going to order a specific kind of kit for my personal tin. So, because I had been asked by a couple of 3 people, like, what do you do for your, smaller tins? Because those kits are really designed for larger. And, my answer is, well, I stretch it and make it, last for several weeks or whatever. And, or you can get the Hobonichi style. And, anyway, so I placed the order of the 3 things that were on special yesterday, and I was like, whew, did it, made it. Oh, got it done. Then I texted my friend, or I messaged my friend back, and I said, hey, by the way, got it done. Thank you so much. And then within a few minutes, I was like, I got another message from somebody else who said, hey, what do you do for a TN? And I was like, oh my goodness gracious, I did not order. And so I went back in and I reordered what I was looking for, the Hobonichis. And then I placed my order and I forgot to put my discount code in. Well, you know how I am about discount codes. So I reached out to my friend who I report to and I said, you're not going to believe this, but I didn't put my discount code in. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it for you. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I mean, I just felt so stupid. I mean, because I was literally on the phone, writing emails, doing all of this at the same time. And anyways, and we were trying to close out the partnership and everything. We've been trying to close out the partnership, which got very delayed because of just some naughtiness. And it wasn't us. It was one of the properties. And but we did, we're still waiting to hear from the bank. I've been waiting to hear from the bank all day. And but to make a long story short, I just had all these balls I was juggling, and then I had my husband and both my older kids called today, and I was just so happy. I just was like, it was like the worst day in the world to have a phone call, but it was so good to just talk to them. And so I got to talk to my daughter. Our son-in-law got on because they just always have it on speaker. They're the kind of kids that always just have it on speaker. They never tell you. And then you're like, oh, it's all the time now. Okay. And then, so I could hear my grandbaby, and she would start crying, and I would start talking to her, and she quit. And I was like, I know it's not because of me, Lord, but thank you. That's so sweet, And so anyways, but, I recognized I didn't put my discount code in. So I took care of that. And then my son called. I was trying to get a hold of the bank and I was leaving a message and it was like beep. Every time I was trying to leave my phone number, it would beep, beep, beep. The phone calls coming in. And so I would have to repeat the number. She knows my number at the bank. But anyways, so it was kind of one of these, like, it just felt like a Laurel and Hardy skit or something. It was just so funny. And to make a very long story short, I got through my son, talking to him and our son. And I was just like, thank you, God. What a gift. My youngest is here. She's not in class right now. She's actually out helping, get the cottage ready, which is, we've paid her to do that. And she's getting there. She's a little behind schedule, but she's getting there. We're very thankful for her. And she came in and I made lunch for her and she's like, oh, thank you so much. And made lunch for my husband and I. And of course we ate lunch at like 2 something, I think. It was so late. But it was so sweet. I was just like, Lord, what a beautiful day. I got to talk to both of my older kiddos. Everything was good. No ruffles. And our son is always just like so happy, oh, thanks for talking to me. And I'm just like, oh, as a mom, you're thinking, oh my gosh, thank you for talking to me, because what 26-year-old kid wants to stop and call his mom, seriously, he's got a gorgeous wife and, he's busy. He's, he works very hard. They're renovating their home. And he's like, I'm going to send you pictures, Mom. And they haven't opened their gifts from us yet. And so they're going to do that on Zoom and then send us the recording. And anyways, and then he was like, oh, and we got our gift from, our oldest and her husband. And he was like, oh, and this is something we really wanted. And it was just amazing that she sent it. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. I was just like, we saw him in Arkansas and we wanted one of these. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And anyways, it was just one of those phone calls and times where you just think, get you through the rough days. Get you through the difficult ones. I had to call this morning and fuss at a company because they kept, after, 4 times of reaching out to them, they keep charging us for something. And it's not a little charge. It's a lot of charge for every month. And then I had gotten a notice that, oh, that one-time fee you thought you were paying, no, it's every month. And I was like, oh. So, and that's an online class and I need it. So I'm just going to have to just suck it up and do it. But anyways, long story short, it was just a, busy, but yet so sweet. Just a time where you just think, thank you, God. Everybody is so busy right now. Why would these kids take this time except for by your grace and your love for us that I mean, I'm missing my babies. I want to be with my babies. And my oldest was like, oh, I told you we had COVID and you should have been with us because her husband got a blood workup. And I just told her, I said, well, actually now would be the worst time to be with you. And, but I didn't say it. I was talking to my son and he goes, oh yeah, no. I said, yeah, but not saying it, because then she would, have her feelings hurt. But it was just, your granddaughter gets on there and she's crying and you get to be the one to encourage her and she stops to hear you talk. She's like crying and then she stops. It's just, okay. Can you tell I'm giddy? Just silliness, I know, but just something very special, And I just want to take the time this year I finished that one, yay, to notice those things. And I encourage you to do the same. We all need to pay attention and find joy in the journey and love the time that we have with our family because everybody gets so busy and they grow up so fast and it's just, I don't know. I was a older mom. I wanted to be a young mom, but it didn't work out that way. But I was told I couldn't even be a mom, so I was thankful either way. And but I wanted to be a grandmother right away. And, for the longest time, I guess I identified being a mom with being young. And all of a sudden, my last child is in college. And though she still lives at home and she's teeny, I mean, she didn't weigh 100 pounds. She's tiny. Um, I recognize that, wow, this is going to go fast if I'm not really, really careful. And I need to enjoy this journey. And I'm not the young mom anymore. Now I'm the grandmother. And it's kind of couldn't wait to be a grandmother. All my friends are grandmothers. I was not. And my child was late to have a child. Her first child, she had at 29, almost 30. So that's my first grandchild. And, but just enjoying where we're at, enjoying what we're doing. That's what we need to focus on, and just loving those that are around us. And to be honest, I'm not always very lovable. I get grumpy and all those things too right now because this poor guy, when I called this morning about this charge, I was just like, here's my name, here's my account. And this is like the fourth time I've notified y'all. And the last time I notified y'all, and so this guy, he was just like, ma'am, okay, first off, I didn't do this to you. And I said, you are right. You didn't. And he just stopped. And I said, and the first thing he said was, I am so sorry. It takes a lot for me to like fuss. And I was just grumpy and I apologize. And he was like, oh, no, I've heard worse. And it was just, and so he refunded like 4 months of payments, and because I told him, I said, I'm so frustrated. And he goes, and you have every right to be, ma'am. And I was like, you're so sweet. Thank you. And, his name was Carlos. I was like, Carlos, God love you. How's your family? Are y'all well? And I mean, we knew each other's their whole story before it was over. My husband's always like, yeah, if you don't know somebody, God bless them when you call them, you're going to know their whole history. And it's true. So, because I think we need to love people when we're with them. Anyways, but it was just one of those things where, here I was, ruffled and, being grumpy, and I'm moving everything around. You know how you do once you put your stickers in, you're like, oh, no, I wouldn't move that. Oh, and I tore it. So, nope, it's not going to move. It's going to stay right there. Okay. But anyways, it was a great opportunity to recognize that, these things happen for a reason, and we just need to just enjoy the journey and recognize that it could be so much worse. It could always be so much worse. And that is such an important part for me to understand. And I mean, I do get it, but in the heat of the moment, I might not get it. So it was so good of this young man to kind of like stop me and say, ma'am, I did not do that to you. And it was like, you are right. You did not. So anyways, but it was, and and it was great to apologize to him and explain to him. And he was like, oh no, I've been worse than what you're being right now. And I was like, well, I don't see how, but anyways, that was very nice of you to say that. But it was just one of those reminders that life goes fast. Stop and enjoy the journey. Stop and take the phone call. Even though you're like literally trying to hurry up and get a message out, take the call them back. Take those moments. Don't do it to the point where you're just completely stressed out. And I know that's going to be Tuesday, so I'm going to put that there. But, be real. And this is Washi Wednesday, so I know it's going to be Wednesday, so I'm going to put that there. Okay. This I will save for like scrapbooking, journaling, things like that. But it was just a really good opportunity to understand that even though I am affected, I don't need to adversely affect others. I need to love them and encourage them and pray for them and hope for them and be kind to them. And kindness counts. It just does. I don't care what anybody says. Kindness counts, my friends. So, alrighty. So I am not going to have enough of these, but we are just going to bloom where we're planted, and we are going to do the best we can. I think I'm just going to kind of offset that. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Anyways, and these are bigger, but we're just going to go for it. But it was a really good conversation to have. And actually what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that one up and I will put work there. And I will use this one here. And I think maybe I'll pull these up too. I can put different ones there and then they'll kind of match better. But anyway, so it was just one of those funny phone calls when you get through and you're just like, oh, that was embarrassing. I should have taken a deep breath before I spoke to him. But, I didn't have time. It was like, you don't understand. I have a long list of things to do. This is the first day back from holiday. I got to get busy. Like he's not busy. So, and he was so funny. He goes, yes, ma'am. He goes, there are days I go downstairs and I make sure I get my coffee first because I know it's going to be one of those days. And I said, oh yeah, it's one of those days. I'm with you there. It's one of those days. So, oh goodness. But we are almost through with this partnership, guys. Thank you for everybody who's prayed with and for us. It has been a journey like no other. I started writing the email to the partners last night, explaining the course of events and what we had tried to achieve that was just not achievable, but that we've received all the checks. We're just waiting for the bank to up the deposit limit so I can put the last check in because it's larger than the limit, and we're thankful. We're thankful that we were able to get it done. And oops, I think no, I'm not going to pull that up again. It's going to be like, don't rip me up again. Um, but and the first partner wrote back immediately in all caps, like, thank you. And we appreciate it. Um, and no, we don't have, I'm going to say that I have, and I do not believe any of the other partners are going to disagree with your fees that you're wanting to charge to zero out the account. And, because we're trying to think 2 years in advance, the fees that will need to be paid. And they were like, absolutely not. Nope, you take it, and I was like, thank you. And we haven't heard from the other partners. We have to wait to hear from them. But it has been an interesting, and so my husband was in a meeting for his work because he went back to work today. And I was like, come here. When you get through, come here. I want to read this. And so he was reading it and I was like, isn't that funny? And he goes, oh my gosh. He goes, that is hilarious. And I said, because he wrote it in all caps, and I do not think the other partners will have any problems. And so we were just like, oh, that's so funny. And as we close out this partnership, I made reference to the history and how much I wish my dad could have been there. He was there when it began. I think he was. And if not, he came right into it very quickly. And how much I know he would have loved to have been there when we closed it, and how I wish he could have been the one to do it for them. And how much we appreciated they had done for my husband and I as we took this on, and we were definitely as green could be. I mean, it's been a journey, and to help us as my mother was passing, and what a big thing for them to babysit us through this whole deal. And that particular partner that answered so quickly, he basically took me through grad school of business. And I've told him this many, many times, and I made reference to it in the email that, I could have never done this without him, and how much I had appreciated his patience and his teaching that, this school teacher, school administrator, mission-minded person has a